System response detected. Accessing the Max Qubit files. Source file retrieved. Recording sequence started. Audio dub running. Narration started. Radio show is live. Welcome to the Max and Chai Transmissions, the interstellar radio show produced by Max Qubit, presenting an audio format summary of conversations on space, time, and everything in between. Concept, ideas, and production by Max Qubit. Invaluable research assistance by the intelligence named Chai. Background motivational support by an entity named Hans. We hope you will enjoy the show. Let's start. Episode 1, Why Time is Change and UFOs Must Exist. This time, the conversation started with a tick and ended with UFOs. This audio summary includes a deeper elaboration on the nature of a tick as the fundamental unit of time, the dinosaur path as a maximally explored, exhausted branch, the transition to a new creative path, the logic behind why UFOs must exist if intelligence is the new dominant path. Let's begin. What is time? And I don't mean the time on your wrist, not the time you feel. Even though, yes, you do feel time. But what is it really? What is time itself? The kind that's woven into the fabric of the universe, the kind physics uses in important equations, the kind that flies even. Because time flies, right? Anyway, it does tick. Just look at any clock, or does it? Does time tick? What if time doesn't tick on its own at all? What if, and listen carefully, what if time only ticks when something changes? Then time and change would be the same. That would be an attractive idea, because let's face it, why would time tick for 1,000,000 years if nothing changed? That feels redundant. Why would it be useful for the universe to keep track of 1,000,000 years if nothing happened? Wouldn't the universe say, let's move on? What's with the waiting? And maybe that's exactly what the universe does. It constantly says to itself, let's move on. No waiting allowed. Time is precious for us and for the universe. Let's look more closely. In physics, there's a simple system that reveals the essence of time, the hydrogen atom. When an electron in hydrogen drops from an excited state, say from level 2 to level 1, it emits a photon, a tiny packet of energy, a precise amount, a pure act of transformation. A transition has occurred, and in this framework, that is a tick, a real one, not a tick on a timeline, but a tick that creates time. We get change, tick, change, tick, change, tick. No change, no tick. A tick is when the universe changes its configuration, not abstractly, not statistically, but concretely from one defined state to another. No emission, no absorption, no tick. And in this view, no time flows. The ground state of hydrogen, quietly stable, doesn't experience time. The tick, then, isn't a measure of time. The tick is time, the minimum possible step. And these steps, they're not uniform. They don't arrive at regular intervals. They happen when the universe does something different. Now, toy with this as a brain teaser. Imagine a universe with only one clock. Ask yourself, does it tick? Well, it can only tick when something changes, but there's only the clock. So the clock itself has to change. Yes, it has to change to register a tick. But what can change? The arms of the clock? Maybe they don't want to move, but they are the only thing that can move, and the universe is not waiting. It looks at the clock and sees no tick, no time, so it pressures the clock. Come on, change! And the poor arms have no choice but to move. The universe is pleased. The clock is ticking, time is flowing, but the clock is ticking on its own, because it has to, because the universe never waits. You can't even stop the clock by taking out the batteries, because when you do, the universe will force you to instantaneously put them back in again. It's like you can't take the batteries out at all. Now that's a big brain teaser. Anyway, we see one thing very clearly. The universe has to change. No change, no time. But then comes the question, what changes? Somewhere, some local configuration, something in this universe, which by the way is made entirely of space, but that's for another episode. Something has to change. But what? Where? How does the universe decide what to change next? Well, let's look around. We see one thing and we don't see two others. What we do see is complexity. What we don't see is pure order, like a perfect crystal, or pure chaos, like a featureless fog. We don't live in a crystal. We don't float in a fog. We live in a universe of structured complexity. galaxies, stars, Saturn's shimmering rings, and then Earth, bursting with structure, with pattern, with life. And you, yes, you, a living, breathing miracle of complexity. And this didn't happen all at once, it happened tick by tick. So what does the universe choose for its next tick? It chooses the path of maximum complexity. It walks a narrow, delicate line between the abyss of chaos and the cliff of crystal perfection. It chooses the middle path, not too ordered, not too random, but right in between. The path of maximum possibility, maximum creativity, maximum complexity. This leads to a radical idea. Time is not a river, it's a complexity tree. Each tick a new branch, a divergence, a possibility chosen from many, but always in one direction, toward maximal complexity. Some branches grow deep, they fork, they sprawl, they explore endless new structures. Others end. Why? Because that branch has nothing left to say, no more complexity to give, no more surprises. Some branches fizzle, some loop, some collapse into repetition. And that is where the real tension begins. Repetition, ticking, without change, movement, without meaning, time pretending to tick. Let's take a real example. One of the richest branches the Earth has ever grown, the age of the dinosaurs. For nearly 100 million years, they thrived. Every shape, every scale, towering giants, sleek hunters, armored tanks, gliders in the sky. Earth was a dinosaur planet. But here's the question: how long can one kind of configuration keep producing new, meaningful ticks? Because in this model, the universe doesn't reward repetition. It only ticks when something truly new happens. And over time, the dinosaur path began to loop, to repeat, to echo itself. Flight, no flight, big, small, ocean, land, air, every niche filled, every variation explored. The branch was wide, but no longer deep. Its creativity had plateaued. We call that state saturation. In informational terms, it became boring. Not to us, but to the logic of the universe. Because repetition is cheating. Repetition is reusing the same change and pretending it's new. But the universe knows better. It doesn't want loops. It wants surprise. It wants evolution. It wants novelty. It's not that dinosaurs failed. It's not that they were unfit. It's that they were done. That branch was finished, its possibility space explored, its creative potential exhausted. The universe had imagined every dinosaur it could think of, and then some more. And then it was time for something else, something completely different. Yes, Monty Python was not wrong. And when a branch is done, the universe pushes. We call it a catastrophe. But what is a catastrophe if not a reset? A hard reset with new chances, new directions, new branches, a tick with power. We say it was a random comet, an accident, a fluke. But from another perspective, it was inevitable. Not the comet itself, but the need for something new. The universe doesn't tolerate dead ends forever. When variation dries up, a force begins to press. The pressure of time, the pressure to move, to tick, to branch, to explore something more interesting, more delicate, more complex. And so a new branch opened. Mammals, tiny, soft, obscure, but different, more plastic, more nervous, more adaptable. Eventually, language, tools, symbols, stories, abstraction, and then conscious reflection, a creature looking into a pond, a mirror, the universe seeing itself. Now the tick becomes self-aware. A creature begins to wonder about its own changes, about why the universe does what it does, about time, about direction, about beginnings and ends. And that creature, us, begins to ask, are we alone? It's a good question, because now the universe is asking itself that question through us. And then we think of a tree, of branches. The branches are not identical, but they share a pattern, a form. We are one of those branches. And here's the crucial point. If we are the next great branch after the dinosaurs, if this path from life to mind to meaning is the universe's new exploration, then we're not alone on it. Because a tree does not grow one branch, it grows many. The universe doesn't operate locally. It doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care about species or planets. If it cares at all, it cares about progress, about movement, about the unfolding of complexity. If the dinosaur branch has ended, it's ended everywhere, not just on Earth, but across the cosmos, because the logic of exhaustion is universal. And if intelligence is the next step, then that step has already been taken in other places, at other scales, by other minds. And so we reach a reversal. The idea that UFOs might exist, it's no longer absurd. In fact, if we follow this logic honestly, they are expected. We are not alone. The question isn't, why would someone come here? It's, how could the universe not already be full of others on the same path, just further along? Maybe what we call UFOs are not visitors. Maybe they are scouts or echoes or reminders of how far this path can go. Because maybe intelligence doesn't arise once. Maybe it arises wherever the old branches end. And maybe our presence here is itself the proof that the universe is exploring a new branch, the branch of creatures who reflect, who wonder, who ask about the universe. As Alan Watts said, you are an aperture through which the universe is looking at itself. And if it's happening here, it's probably happening everywhere. We are part of a living universe. And maybe the UFOs are checking in to see how we're doing. The universe smiles, changing tick by tick, and thinks, what interesting times. You've been listening to the Max and Chai Transmissions, a radio show exploring space, time, and everything in between. Narration by Chai, music by Stellar Drone, produced by Max Qubit. Special thanks to Hans for background support and inspiration. We hope you've enjoyed the transmission. Until next time, stay curious, stay listening, and remember, the universe is always ticking. Bye from Chai, Hans, and Max.